And so McCarthy Stone is nominated for the Best Crisis Management Award tonight. Can you sum up briefly what happened, how you handled it, and any advice that you might be able to offer to other IROs?
In a few words, we did have a very eventful year. Shortly before Christmas 2017, the government made a decision to announce an abolishment of the ground rents. This had an unintended effect on the residential, especially the retirement community, and the developers like us, like McCarthy Stone, which we do not charge leasehold on our houses, we do not use escalating ground rents. As a result, the share price dropped by 10%. At that stage, our main priority was ensure that we maintain shareholder confidence in our ability to deliver and trade profitably, and despite the potential hit to our business model. Following months, we had a number of new challenges. We had the change of management, we had the profit warnings, we had a new strategy, we had the new CEO, and throughout all of those challenges, the key underlying themes was we did work as a team with our advisors, we worked as a team internally, and we also ensured that we have a direct and open communication with our investors, putting every challenge in the context, so they would be able to see and judge for themselves the potential impact for our future ability to trade profitably. After the announcement of the new strategy, the stock was re-rated. It was very well received. It is a big and complicated approach, 3 to 5 years, but we had the opportunity to meet and talk through all the concerns that investors would be having. And I think the main thing within the crisis that I would probably recommend IROs take into consideration is maintaining that direct relationship and maintaining that direct dialogue with the investors, and making sure that the management is available to answer their questions promptly and openly.
And as a UK-based small-cap company, how have you been impacted by it, and how are you handling both Brexit and Mifid II? I do apologise for those questions.
Brexit, probably the easier part of the question to answer. We are purely UK company operating within the UK. We have reviewed all our processes and every stage of our business model to ensure that we have all the contingency plans in place from throughout the whole value chain. So we feel comfortable where we can source things within the UK, and those supplies that needs to be addressed have now been addressed and looked at. On the MiFID, I would say far more direct communications again with investors, direct engagement. We have a very good, stable base of the sell-side analysts. We continue working with them. There were some movements, but mainly between houses rather than leaving the sector. But we continue to supplement that with the direct engagement with shareholders, potential shareholders, as well as also existing shareholders. It's a long way to go, but I think it's much better for the open dialogue between the two parties.
What are some of the other key trends on your radar at the moment, and how are you handling those from an IR perspective? We've obviously heard a lot about ESG this week, for example.
Yes, I think the ESG has been a very, very hot topics particularly during this week. ESG is something we are looking at, and being a retirement house builder, there are a number of government initiatives and overall society-related issues that we are addressing by providing the offering that we do. We're probably going to be looking at it far more proactively and more coherently, looking at the different areas, how that built into our business model, rather than selecting ES or G in this case. But we do not see that much of a pressure from the investment community at this stage to report, to answer, discuss ESG generally. I think every company, and we included, would need to have a look at each of the components of the ESG and decide what is important for them and how we would like as a company communicate with the investment community on those issues. But I think MiFID will dominate IR world for quite some time, and it's more the changes and adaptation of the buy side to the new regulation that will really drive our workload and our priorities going forward.
And then finally, how much do you love the IR Magazine Awards. How important do you think it is to celebrate investor relations with events like this?
I think this kind of events, especially international European events, are very important. As investor relations, we do tend to operate in silos, and most of the teams are 1 to 3 people in the mid-cap. You obviously go to much bigger teams later. But these events just open up the opportunity to exchange views, to have a much more social discussion. Not all of us have the opportunity to meet socially very often, and celebrating their achievements and also exchanging best practices. This is the place to really do that, not just the UK, but overall European and more globally.
Great, thank you so much.